Yeah.
Any details of the Montero loan that you can share?
None that I really know. I mean, obviously it's a complicated scenario involving ourselves, and Millonarios was involved in Sporting Lisbon. So I know it's sort of being described as a loan, a purchase. I'm not privy to all that stuff, but I know with all the teams involved, it's probably a little more complicated. Sometimes there's loan purchases where it starts off as a loan, becomes a purchase. Sometimes it's just a loan, and then there's an option to buy. Sometimes it automatically rolls into a purchase. It's all kinds of different scenarios that could happen.
Do you get a sense it's any more or less likely that Montero would be here next year now?
I think everything's dependent upon himself and his performance over there, and then what happens with Sporting Lisbon, and what the decision that's taken at the end of these next 6 months between Sporting Lisbon, Millonarios, and ourselves. So it's up in the air still.
You've had a second half record that over the past 4 years has been much better than the first half. How has that happened?
I just think it's a combination of a number of things. One is I think the gets a little bit warmer, so it makes it easier for us sometimes. We've had a lot of players from South America and so forth. I think the Heat, they like that a little bit better. Just kidding. But it's also a reflection of just our team getting a chance to settle in and getting to know each other. That's always something that becomes better. And I've always, in all my years of coaching, teams that I've had have generally done better in the second half of the season than the first half of the season, because my philosophy is we're not going to become drill masters. We're going to just work hard and try and put things into our game that become permanent parts of our game. This year's been a little more difficult, and I expect us to have a better second half as we get more and more of our starting lineup out in the field consistently.
What's the injury situation look like? How healthy, I guess, are you looking for next month?
We're getting healthier. I mean, obviously Jimmy Triori trained today and Andy Rose trained today, so those two guys were out there. So that helps us. It gives us two more guys. Evans was able to go through his first full training, so that's three guys. So that helps.
Did Boba come through okay?
Yeah, I got kicked by Rosales there, the guy on his own team, on that play. So, hopefully, just got kicked on a bony part of his knee. So hopefully it won't be anything serious.
We talked to Marcus Hahnemann today, and he obviously is disappointed with his injury situation. Is that hard for you to kind of see him going through that, knowing that he would have otherwise had an opportunity?
It's a difficult situation for Marcus, because obviously you sit there as a reserve goalkeeper and you're waiting for a chance to play, and now you have a situation where the first string goalkeeper gets injured, so now's your opportunity to play. And Marcus has been a quality goalkeeper over the years, and you're injured at the same time. So from that standpoint, I understand Marcus's frustration, and for us as a club, it's the reason that we brought Marcus here, is that if something happened to Michael, that we'd have a quality reserve goalkeeper that could go into the game, and for them both to be injured at the same time, has made it difficult.
It seems like he's had some bad timing in terms of when he's reached peaks of his career, for instance. He may be one of the top 5 or 6 goalkeepers in U.S. history, yet he only has a handful of caps. I mean, does this seem like just another kind of bad timing incident?
It's bad. I mean, you can say bad timing, but when you look at the national team situation, it's really been a situation where you had a tremendous crop of goalkeepers all at the same time with Casey Keller and Brad Friedel, and you throw Marcus into that equation, and he ended up being the third out of that equation. And so right now you got Timmy Howard, and Guzan's starting to push a little bit, but it's not of the same situation. So for Marcus, it's just timing. And you can go to other countries where it's been similar, where you've had outstanding goalkeepers, but they just happen to have somebody who at that time point was at the apex of his career, was at the top of his career, and you just couldn't get past him. Not that you weren't quality, but that they were just a shade, better, or considered to be better at the time.
Pleased with Andrew's progress with this team in a short amount of time?
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's a readjustment for him, obviously coming back into MLS, coming from USL, and you know the daily training and training under Tommy. But obviously, I mean, he'll hold up his hand on the goal that we took, and but besides that, I think he's done fairly well.
What did you take of the Gold Cup quarterfinal and Eddie's goal?
That was great to see Eddie come off the bench and score. If we knew he was only going to play 30 minutes, we could have maybe used him a little bit. But I talked to Jurgen after the game. And we talked about that a little bit. But obviously where they're playing right now, it's really hot and humid. And he just felt that Eddie, some others had to adjust to humidity a little bit. But he wanted to bring Eddie at halftime, and then because of the PK, he said he decided not to. And but Eddie obviously made his mark when he came in the game, so it's good for him.
What do you think of the lightning bolt got in his hair?
His hair, DeAndre's hair, I don't worry about that. I'm just happy still to have some hair.
Are there guys in the reserve game that showed that they might deserve some first team playing time?
Were there any of our guys who were playing? There's a lot of guys out there, but I don't know how many of ours. Obviously I thought some guys, I thought Remick did well. It was a good game, I thought, for Patrick Ayani, because he got pushed in there with a lot of other players. Estrada obviously played much better at forward than he played wide in midfield. And I thought Zavaleta had some good moments.
You guys were able to take Brown and Harris out of the game. What were you guys able to do defensively against those two on Saturday?
I just think we were alert and we paid attention, and as a result of that, I don't think we gave them a whole lot. They too were trying to slow down the game, and were a little more content with maybe playing for a tie. But I just think we were alert in the back, and I think that helped us shut them down.
Is the set piece defense something that you're continuing to be? Is that a worry, or is that just a?
I mean, you can talk about set piece defense. But that's just a huge mistake. You can't come fishing on a ball like that, and then the guy heads it in. And obviously, the marking assignment. We've talked about that they've got to sort things like that out on the field. Sometimes you draw it up before the game and you say, okay, this guy, but somebody gets hurt and there's a substitution or an injury, or there's a change that gets made, or they decide, a guy decides somebody else is going to make the run. You've got to make the adjustments, so we talked about that.
Look at the pace. Oh, it is fantastic! Absolutely sensational by the Sounders! Hey kids, come train like the first team. Join us this year at Sounders FC Youth Soccer Camps. Have fun and improve your skills. Meet players, make friends and learn from the best. Visit camps.soundersfc.com. Space is limited, so sign up today.